but there always have to be a minimum of elements for the brand to be considered luxury. But especially when it comes to formulation, feel is very important.
The most expensive a product is, the better it performs or the better it is the efficacy.
Overrated. We all know that. At the same time, the market moves very fast and the trends move very fast. And we are bombarded by new trends and new words every 2 or 3 months. It goes very fast. So how do you adapt?
Welcome to a new season of Provitalks, where innovation and purpose guide our conversations beyond beauty. Join us as we explore new ideas with inspiring voices from within and beyond the industry. Because imagining what's ahead is the beauty of the future.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Provitalks, the podcast that explores how beauty is created, challenged, or transformed. In today's episode, we're going to focus on premium cosmetics and the behind the scenes of beauty creation in this segment. Because behind every high-end product, there's way more than aesthetics or price, right? There's a complex balance of formulation, storytelling, innovation, and even consumer psychology even.
Totally right, Clara. And I actually would say that premium cosmetics is like a niche category in the industry, but it's always been there, and we have really relevant brands and big players in the industry, and with a lot of history too. So lucky for us and our audience, today we have with us José Martínez Santiago from the UK, who will help us to understand a little bit more about this category. Welcome to Provital, José.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm from Barcelona myself, so it's always lovely to come home.
Yes, coming from the UK, but originally from Barcelona.
Originally from Barcelona. I've been in the UK for UK and New York 25 years. So.
Okay. I think that to start, it would be nice if you could explain a little bit about your background, your career, and we would also love to know, how did you get into the beauty industry?
Okay. Almost by accident, I would say, like everyone. But I studied here in Barcelona, studying chemical engineering. And when I finished my studies, I tried to look for a job as a chemical engineer. And I realized it wasn't a very creative industry for me. So while I was looking for other jobs, I actually got a job at Sephora. They just arrived in, I think it was 1999, long time ago. And they opened their first store in Plaza Catalunya.
I was going to say, it wasn't like, it was new.
It was new. It was the first store that they opened after the Champs-Élysées store in Paris.
Wow.
And it was a mega store under the tunnels of the subway in Plaza Catalunya.
Okay.
So anyway, I just got a job there, and just while I was looking for other jobs as chemist, and I just fell in love with the industry. I mean, it was a very interesting concept that they introduced with Sephora in Barcelona. I don't know if you guys remember, but we had to wear a black glove to present cosmetics and personal care products to customers. And our uniform was designed by Jean-Paul Gaultier. So it was all very luxurious and very premium. Now Sephora has changed a little bit, but at that time it was just very interesting concept. And as a chemist, I was just very intrigued about the chemistry of this product. I was working in the skincare department, and I was looking at these ingredient lists, and I was thinking, I haven't learned this in school. What are those inky names? So I was just very intrigued, and I basically fell in love with the industry, and I thought maybe this could be it. I mean, I can apply my scientific knowledge in chemistry, and then I can be creative by working in this industry. So then I went to the UK with Sephora, and over there I did some studies on cosmetic chemistry with the Society of Cosmetic Chemists over there. And then when I moved to New York in 2006, I did a master's degree in cosmetic chemistry, and there were not many around the world at that time. And while I was studying, I did work for Ashland, a cosmetic ingredient company that you
we
probably know. You know it.
Quite a competitor of us, right?
And I worked 7 years for them. And between studies and work experience, I was always intrigued about formulation and product development. I also did my doctorate in the US, sponsored by Unilever. So I worked a lot with consumer products. But I always wanted to focus on product development and formulation. That really intrigued me. So when I came back to the UK in 2015, I worked for another ingredient company. And then I started my own company, the Formulation Studio. We're based in central London, and I'm just focusing on what I always wanted to do, which is cosmetic formulation, product development, but always focusing on the formulas themselves. And we usually help, many customers, but most of them, because of the services that we provide, are luxury premium brands, independent brands that come to us for help basically developing the products. So that's in a nutshell my journey.
No, it's
quite
a
been
journey.
about 22 years in the industry. So
A very exciting journey, I would say. Really cool.
Thank you.
Was it a natural move? Like, did these requests that you have now that are more for luxury brands, was it a natural thing, or were you interested in luxury beauty? What makes it more exciting for you?
Well, it was probably natural because, and this happened when I started my company, I would say, suddenly we had more luxury companies coming to us. And I think because the services we provided, I wanted to differentiate services provided by manufacturers or contract manufacturers or private label. I wanted to have this collaboration, that intimate relationship with my customers, spend time with formulas, assessing the message, the story, looking at packaging, while focusing always in the formula, because everything impacts the way you formulate. And by providing that very bespoke service, I think that naturally these brands were attracted to me. Mm-hmm. So I would say 80-90% of the brands that we work with will be in the luxe category in the market. And I love working with luxury brands. It's great. They sort of give you more, there's more flexibility when it comes to what you can choose in terms of formulating. The retail price permits costs like selecting quality ingredients.
And it allows you to be a little bit more creative, probably, right?
Yeah. So as a formulator, you always want to have options. And having options, it's great, basically. So they can also do clinical testing. So there's more science behind formulation. And so I think that they came to me naturally because of the services I provided. And then I really enjoyed it. So we sticked with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we see that you have a lot of experience, mostly in the US and in the UK. Big markets that everyone knows that there are a lot of prestige brands in those industries.
Yeah.
But we always see that the luxury and this category is evolving very fast, as everything nowadays. How would you describe what this luxury cosmetics brand nowadays?
Well, everything has evolved and changed, and defining what a luxury brand today is quite complex. And when you work with many different brands and all of them understand luxury in a different way, you sort of adapt yourself to what they want. I do think that it's a blend of things. Myself, I always thought when I was working in Sephora many years ago that a luxury brand was that brand that you would look at, would look great. It belonged to this luxury name. And now I think it's very different on how the industry has evolved. Now it's much more. You have to have good branding. The product has to look good in the shelf for you to pick it up and buy it. But consumers are very savvy. They want more. They just don't want a luxury brand. They want a luxury brand that performs, has good efficacy. They know about ingredients, so they will study the ingredients. What about the quality of the ingredients? the texture, the scent. I mean, texture is so important when it comes to luxury products. We can talk more about it, but how the product feels on your skin will tell the customer as well. That's probably luxury. So I think it has changed a lot. And then other trends have come that the luxury category has adopted, like natural, sustainability, all of those new trends. The luxury had to adapt to those as well.
Yeah.
So it's not, for me, it's not just a brand that looks good, that you would just buy it because it looks good. When you get home with a luxury product, you have lots of expectations, and the product has to work and has to be efficacious for you to go back and buy it again.
You have to prove, right? Like
Exactly.
the price is worth it.
So
and the experience.
Yeah, it's less about brand or exclusivity, that sense maybe that we had before, and more about the formulation or right, the product itself.
And the performance as well.
Yeah.
Texture, product performance, claims, certifications, accreditations. It's many things, and it's very interesting how different brands will just want to focus on one thing rather than the other. Mm-hmm. But there always have to be a minimum of elements for the brand to be considered luxury. The story, it's very important as well for luxury brands. And I think that they do really well. They want to tell a story that people are identified with, that resonates with them. So it's evolving, and it's not one thing, but it's a compendium of elements.
It all has to be in accordance in the end, because even if you have a very good formula, but you don't have a story, or you don't have
the positioning,
what the consumer sees in the end.
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
So we understand that you work with many different brands, and each brand is unique. But could you walk us through on how is this process developed, and how do you formulate a luxury product?
Yeah, again, we adapt to our customers, but usually I'll tell you about how we work at the Formulation Studio, and I think it's probably very similar in some ways at other independent formulators, and some things we probably do differently. But everything starts with the customer contacting us and coming with a brief. Sometimes this brief is very detailed with many specifics. Sometimes they need our help to construct the brief, and we're happy to do that. So the brief will tell the story about the product, what it's intended to, the market audience they want to reach to. Then, of course, branding, packaging, ingredients, key ingredients, everything that is in the brief will determine how we formulate the product. Everything helps me how to formulate the product. So the brief is very important. And that's how we start, basically. Then we go to the lab and we work our magic with all of that information. So we basically start blending. Something that I think in our process is different to other consultants is that, we're based in central London, so customers, brands come to us in the lab and they work with us in the lab.
Oh, wow.
So we put them a lab coat and we say, okay, well, this is your product being blended. Come and see it, feel it while it's made. Before we add this ingredient, see how it feels. So it's a true collaboration. And that's, of course, my favorite part. Sometimes that's dangerous because it can get very long and we can go through so many revisions with the customers being there. But I think that they appreciate that and they feel that that's very exclusive and sort of is aligned with our brand as well. So we go through revisions and then once the product is signed off, we do testing, which is compliance testing. Usually these brands also have funding to do clinical testing to substantiate some claims, which is good.
Is your company involved in that, or you use external
we do use
CROs for the testing?
We use external partners, so we don't do claim substantiation. We can do compliance testing like stability testing and preservative efficacy test. But everything else will be our partner labs. We just reach to them and then we say we need these tests to substantiate certain claim.
If you provide the formulas and the products for the testing. Yeah,
and then we also help them with regulatory. So we externalize this as well, but we're there present to introduce them to our regulatory partners, depending on the markets they want to launch the product to. And then it goes to manufacturing. So when it goes to manufacturing, we usually refer them to manufacturing partners that we find. We don't manufacture ourselves.
Lead advisory or consulting, I don't know how you call it.
Yeah. So we basically hold their hands from beginning brief creation until they go to manufacturing and beyond. And I think that that's very important for a new brand, a brand that don't have many experience in developing products initially. That happens with most of independent brands.
Yeah.
So it's a very specific service that, you know, they really appreciate. And then when it comes to manufacturing, it's also very interesting because historically you go to manufacturers or private level companies to develop products. And now as consultants or independent formulators, I would say we're quite new in the game. So some manufacturers are not used to us. It's like, okay, well, these brands used to come to us and we used to develop their products through whatever private labeling, white labeling, and now they're coming with a recipe saying, oh, I got this independent formulator that formulated these for us throughout this month and we collaborated. So it's a new thing for manufacturers and they're getting used to it. Some of them are used to it and they like working with us and we work in collaboration. But I think that it's sort of a new process that need to mature.
Yeah, they need to adapt a little bit
in the industry because it's definitely not new. I've encountered UK, US, and Europe, both types of manufacturers that are so happy to work with independent formulators, but some others don't. So holding their hands through the process, I mean, that's what I think makes us unique. And so in a nutshell, that's the process. And of course, for luxury products during the development phase, we do pay attention to many things like texture and ingredients that are highest quality, but especially when it comes to formulation, feel is very, very important. Yeah. Very important. It's not easy to get there, but we have ways to get there.
Okay. Can you give us an example on the ways to get there? Not the ways to get there, but the kind of feel that you're looking for, that most of your clients are looking for in this kind of products?
So again, it changed a little bit brand to brand. Some brands are, and some things are more important to them than others. But I mean, we can start with how the product is dispensed determines how would you work on the texture. So is it picked up from a jar? Is it pumped from an airless pump? Is it sprayed? So from there, we would have to think how the product is formulated so it dispenses well. So if it's in a jar, you want to be able to pick up that
and
product.
It doesn't leak.
So it doesn't drip, and there are many ways to do that when it comes to selecting functional ingredients, texturizers, emollients, emulsifiers. All of these functional ingredients will impact how the product is dispensed. Then the next thing is spreadability. So spreadability is always been, we always talked about shear thinning. I don't know if so shear thinning is when you have a product with certain viscosity that in touch with your skin, it sort of melts and it spreads really well. And with acrylates, we achieved these for many years. Now we want something else. That's not,
we need to replace, right?
That's not luxury anymore. So you want something that is shear thinning, but stays on the skin for a bit longer. It doesn't absorb so quickly. So you have some play time. So the consumer feels the product being distributed in the skin. It's all about the experience. So that's a luxurious experience. And then, of course, is the after feel. So once you have spread your product and your product has absorbed at a certain time, what's the feel afterwards? So is it silky? Is it velvety? Is it cushiony? We have tons of words that describe what these functional ingredients can do. So selecting the right ingredients will provide different effects on pickup, spreadability, after feel. And for that, you would require quite a bit of experience of working with ingredients for many years because you have to test there are hundreds of texturizers,
Wow.
thickeners, and how many emulsifiers do we have in the market? Emollients. And then it's not only those ingredients providing certain benefits, but the combination of these ingredients. Every combination would be, affect how each ingredient perform. So for that, I would say you need quite a bit of experience working with ingredients. Also instinct. I believe in instinct. It's not very scientific, but sometimes you can be instinctual on how you choose ingredients because you think that's gonna work, and sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. But follow instinct. I think is very important. And then don't be afraid of accidents in the lab. Accidents happen, and sometimes they are great. They give us very interesting textures that we didn't expect, that they don't exist before. I'm not afraid of mixing ingredients that are not meant to be mixed.
Yeah.
I like to break the rules in formulation. Why not? Yeah. And sometimes you get really interesting textures that way. So, understanding ingredients, having experience, following your instinct, not being, afraid of accidents, and so that will help you create the texture and the product that you want. And then, of course, scent is very important. So that will also determine very much if the product is perceived as luxurious.
Yeah.
So we're not perfumers ourselves, but our brands usually would come with a perfume brief that they will provide to perfume houses, and they will just get some prototypes and we just incorporate them in the product, and they can just, test them with us. And that industry has gone so far in the luxury category. You have perfumes that are naturally derived. You have perfumes that have been clinically proved to change your perception and your status, and don't be stressed and be happier. And all of this has been clinically proven, which is, I think, mind-blowing. Yeah. So all of those elements will help us as formulators to create that product that you would feel from the first moment, this is luxury.
Yeah, it's part of the experience, and it's the first step.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, great explanation, though. Thank you.
You guys are invited to the lab. If you want to come to the lab and spend a day with
we have
me.
to. We have to.
I would
Please
love
do.
to. I would love to. In fact, I was gonna ask that in terms of ingredients, obviously there's the active ingredient to the product, which also can be it can be a key factor, not even technically, sometimes even creatively, right? Because it brings a story or
the claims.
The claims, obviously the efficacy claims, the technical claims, but also some story, which you said it is more and more important for prestige beauty, especially.
Yeah.
So for prestige beauty specifically, how big is that influence of active ingredients, or how big it can get?
It's a very big influence. Okay. In my case, ingredient suppliers are key players in my day-to-day work. I do develop and formulate in the lab, collaborating with ingredient suppliers constantly. When I started the Formulation Studio in London, the first thing I did is reach out to ingredient suppliers. You are the ones that follow the trends, and I know Provital does very well. And you innovate based on those trends. And so you sort of do a bit of our work is done.
Yeah.
And then we just come to you and you say, well, this is what we're innovating with. This is our new ingredients. We have tested them for efficacy, but we've also showcased them in some prototypes. So you're full of inspiration. That relationship it's very strong, and I have relationships with many ingredient suppliers and distributors, and so it's the support is endless. It's just not only I just heard recently that some suppliers will even provide testing free of charge of brands if you use some of the ingredients like preservatives. Perfumers, they're not needed anymore with perfume companies because ingredient suppliers that supply perfumes will take your brief and create a prototype for you based on, the product. So, you don't have to spend all of these, there's a big cost to go to a perfumer. So ingredient suppliers that supply perfume will just come and give you a bespoke prototype for your product. So, and it's also evolved over the years. I mean, there's more and more and more support that you provide. So inspiration is, that's the most important thing for me, inspiration, and also for our brands, inspiration from ingredient suppliers. As you mentioned, sometimes they come with a very specific ingredient in mind. Okay. And sometimes we start the brief with the story, but sometimes we start the brief and the product from an ingredient.
So you build the brief around that, right?
Around one ingredient or two, and the customer loves that ingredient because it's new, because it follows the trend, because it's been newly launched, or whatever reason. And sometimes we just look at the ingredient and we build a whole brand surround that ingredient. And that's your influence. I mean, that's you come in and saying, this is the innovation, this is a new ingredient, and this is what it can do for you. So
yeah, I guess it's proportional, right? The more inspirational tools the ingredient provider provide, the more they affect the positioning of the brand or of the product or the line or whatever.
Do you feel like you have more impact on product development and brands more and more as you provide more support?
Not only us, I think ingredients in general.
Yeah. But part of our strategy is that we don't want people to think about Provital as a supplier, and that's it. I mean, we want to position Provital as a key partner, a strategic partner for our customers, because it's what you are sharing with us, that we do not just deliver an active ingredient and okay, now it's on you, do whatever. It's like we give this support as positioning, marketing, regulatory, even formulation as well, because we have our own formulation lab in-house. And that's what we try to support our customers, and it's true that we see this evolving a lot.
Yeah, I work in marketing, so in the end, the part that I would say we add a lot to is the creative side. So yes, in that matter, I think we are affecting the product more and more in terms of the positioning, of the creative positioning, I'm guessing.
At least that's our goal, right?
I'm more in touch with the technical side from ingredient suppliers, because we usually, when we have ingredients from you, we would want to know how they use, how they blend with other ingredients. If you already have example prototypes showcasing that ingredient, and then if we have a problem of incompatibility, so why is this happening? And there were no formulation labs before in ingredient suppliers, and now all of them have formulation labs.
We have to, because people need this kind of technical support.
It's just, for me, it's brilliant. Every year there's more support to us, which makes my work easier, to be honest. And so and then my brands also want to meet the ingredient suppliers. When we have the trade shows, I bring them so they can meet them. And so it's super valuable support in conclusion.
You mentioned before, coming back to the texture, because you mentioned that it's very important for prestige brands. So would you say, because you worked in different markets, but would you say that there are differences between what it feels like luxury in the US, in the UK, or in other markets where your brands export? Because that is also not...
Asia or Middle East.
Yeah.
That's a very interesting question. That makes me think. We work with different markets, mostly America and Europe and UK. And yes, it's true. And this is probably generalizing, because
we do have to generalize.
We have to generalize. But I think Europeans and in the UK, for them, they like to adopt luxury products into their daily routine much more than in other countries. So I remember my mom using a Lancome body cream, and that's, which in other countries you would never see this at all. So personal care, which includes hygiene and beautifying. In Europe, they will be more used to getting luxury products to fulfill those needs. And I think that is still very much like that. I think in America, I see brands, luxury brands, empowering people. Consumers want to get empowered by the brands and identified by them. So I'm buying this brand because I feel like I'm this way and this represents me. There's a lot about empowering, I think. Asia is completely different. I think when we develop products for Asia, we have to have other things in mind, like prevention, well-being, health. It's very important. And now with the Korean phenomenon, I call it phenomenon because it's not a trend anymore. It's a phenomenon.
It's here.
It's here to stay. And it's more this flawless perfection looks, which they're not so seek so much in Europe or in America. But I would say Asia is more prevention, health, mostly in China, and then Korean is that perfect look. And then I would say Middle East also, we have some clients in there, very different view of luxury. In there, luxury is about look and perception and experience and scent, very scented products.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's all generalizing, but from experience developing products for those regions, that's the more differences that I see, the more obvious differences that I see.
Interesting. You were mentioning before about how you guys work with your customers, and I understand that it's not a short process, it takes some time. So we would like to understand how are these luxury brands dealing with today's consumer behavior? Because we see nowadays that every time consumers, they demand innovation and the trends last longer, shorter time. So how can they be there fast without compromising, of course, uniqueness, quality, and also their own positioning?
Well, is it possible to do that?
Yeah, well,
I'm sure that these brands have tools to perceive those quick changes and innovate very quickly. When they come to me, I always say, don't hurry, please. Let's just take our time. Because in my experience, when you move very fast, sometimes things don't go well. And we should not cut corners when it comes to product development. But at the same time, the market moves very fast and the trends move very fast. And we're bombarded by new trends and new words every 2 or 3 months. It goes very fast. So how do you adapt? I think independent brands in the luxe category have the chance to do it with, for example, services that we provide. I mean, they can come to us and we can have a product made in 3 months or 4 months. And then, of course, they have to manufacture and add time for other things. But I think what the classic brands and manufacturers is more difficult to innovate quickly and develop quickly because they have supply chain, setups and logistics that don't probably adapt that quickly.
Not flexible enough.
Exactly. So with independent brands in the luxe market, there's a chance to move quickly, but the problem is that trends are moving quicker and quicker and quicker. And I'm sure that for ingredient suppliers, it's the same. You have to, developing an ingredient is not something you can do in a week.
You have to prepare for what is coming when it's not there yet.
Exactly. Yeah. We have to be inspired in pharma or medical industry to understand and try to understand what's coming, because we always say that our process to launch an ingredient takes from 3 to 5 years. When we launch it, you need 1 to 3 more years to develop the product. So the whole chain is.
That is why I think it's getting more and more influential. The active ingredient providers are getting more influential because in the end, you are setting the pathway because you don't know what is coming. So you kind of, you don't invent the pathway, but you get how the pathway is going to be, and you
Yeah.
kind of draw it for
Yeah.
brands to follow. So I think that is more and more common.
I didn't know it was 3 to 5 years to develop an ingredient. That takes a bit of time. So the quickest we have done from brief to market is probably a year,
Okay.
and that's probably quite quick for bigger brands. And in that year, meaning brief, development of the formula, testing, regulatory, manufacturing, distribution, and to the market. I think that's probably the quickest. But in that 1 year, sometimes I feel like once we're in the manufacturing stage, the brand comes and say, oh, is this going to be impactful in the market? Because now we have, I don't know, another ingredient that came to market, or
It's impossible to be up to date all the time.
it's impossible.
You have to guess.
So even though I think we do it quite fast, because it's just becoming faster and faster.
Yeah.
So it's not easy.
Okay, so related to this, to the big or smaller trends, or the quick trends, buzzwords, and all these things that are appearing now in the beauty industry, we wanted to make it a bit more dynamic and use your experience and your instinct, like you said. And we're gonna throw at you some big buzzwords that we have seen are big in the market, and you say if they are overrated or underrated, or at least what you believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I just say underrated or overrated.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we would like to understand why.
Okay, so it's not a simple answer.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
We'll try to make it fast.
Okay. So the first one would be.
Okay. As you are very experienced in luxury, what do you think about these heavy packed luxury packagings?
Overrated. I think sometimes they're not needed, and they're just there to catch the attention, and it just, it's so much material. It's expensive and it's unnecessary sometimes. So definitely underrated.
Okay. What about
Overrated. Overrated.
What about ultra long skincare routines?
Overrated for sure. Very interesting, because we started working with some dermatologists and building some dermatologist brands. And all of them that I work with are very keen on just providing and developing 1 or 2 products. And they know skin from the dermatology point of view very well. And I'm sort of, learning from them quite a bit in this process. And they're just not, you don't need 7 products. And I understand that for some brands, just to survive, they need to have many SKUs in their lines. So the consumer comes and picks up 1, 2, or 3 products, and that's how they can be profitable. But in reality, your skin doesn't need this many products. You need a cleanser, you need a moisturizer to protect your barrier and enhance your barrier, and you need an SPF to protect your skin. And if you can do SPF and moisturize at the same time, you'll just need 2 products. And you would need 1 at night if you need some active ingredients that are sensitive to light, and then you just need that. But more than that, it's clogging the pores, it's just disrupting the barrier, it's just actually... And then these ingredients interact with each other. You have so many in the skin. Are they efficacious anymore? Maybe not.
Yeah.
So definitely overrated. Just use 2 products if you can, I would say.
Luxury refillable packaging.
Or underrated. I think there should be more. I think that's very good. Refillables are great. They're sustainable. You can have a lovely luxury first packaging, and then you don't need a beautiful refill again and again and again. That costs a lot of money to the brand, and it's not sustainable.
What about in-store beauty experiences?
I haven't experienced any myself, but I know that this is probably underrated because they're great. I mean, why not?
Consumers look for experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So now there are analyses that have been done of skin in situ, so they will know what you need. and they will just drive you to the product that will do something for your skin. So definitely, I think that's very good, underrated.
Okay, now I have a big one. Longevity in cosmetics.
Overrated. Well, it's just been...
It's too much now.
It's too much now. But everything becomes too much, right? We start, it's so excited, and then everyone...
It's everywhere.
And as a formulator, you get, you're at the end of receiving end of many ingredient suppliers telling you, oh, look, use this. So probably too much out there. And with longevity, which is, I think, a new thing, but not a new thing, because, it's classically was anti-aging, and we don't say anti-aging anymore, but longevity is about prolonging, certain aspects of your skin at the cellular level. And some ingredients are incredibly efficacious, gone into, mitochondrial activity. And, we've seen incredible clinical studies, but because everyone wants to jump in it and bringing ingredients from everywhere, sometimes you see studies that are not so interesting. Yeah. And so I'm working a lot on longevity at the moment.
You can imagine your briefs with the words underlined everywhere.
Everywhere is longevity. So, and probably for quite a bit. So I'm ready for the next thing, maybe. I don't know.
Okay. The next ones are regarding types of ingredients. The first one is peptides.
Oh, I would say overrated, but there's still some are coming to market that are very interesting and they're very efficacious. And there's some biotech companies linked to universities doing great studies on some peptides. With incredible results on clinical studies. So I would say overrated because they've been with us for a long time.
Yeah, sure.
But still there's some that are very efficacious and coming from different sources and plant sources. And I would say exactly the same as exosomes. They're a bit more new.
Yeah.
They're a bit more new, but there's still many interesting technologies coming under the exosome platform. So, yeah, I mean, I would just sit on the fence for that one.
I mean, I get what you mean. Like we, as industry professionals, like as beauty professionals, we have been working with these terms and these types of ingredients for years. But they are now buzzwords for the final consumer. So
yeah, it's in the final market.
The pull factor now. So you feel like you're repeating yourself, but in the end, it's come to.
It's demanded.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What about the fermented ingredients or precision fermentation, this kind of biotechnology?
Yeah, quite a bit for a while. I haven't worked on fermented ingredients for a bit. I'm excited always when fermented ingredients come in. They're very interesting ingredients, and so with the microbiome, and they're very respectful, and so I would say underrated, only because I haven't
your opinion, of course.
a lot with them. Yeah.
What about medical grade claims in products?
Medical claims, I think overrated. I mean, we shouldn't be there. We're not there to cure. We're personal care products, and medical,
like trying to cross the barrier between cosmetics.
We've always been trying to cross, but we can't. I mean, I think in the US it's very well defined with the FDA and what's a drug and what's a cosmetic, and they have a very clear definition of what a cosmetic is. In here, it's a bit more not so defined, but we have to be careful with these claims. Where the cosmetics, personal care are not there to cure, and we shouldn't expect that. They can prevent sometimes, but I don't think that we can even say that. So they are to beautify us and feel us great, which is important enough. We are when we use these products, we feel good, our skin feels great, we feel beautiful, and that's really good for your health too. But we're not meant to cure, so definitely overrated.
What about skin barrier focused skincare?
Well, that's good. It's underrated. I think skin barrier, there's a lot to learn about skin barrier and how it functions. And there's a lot of ingredients that come out to support the barrier, ceramides and many others. But I think it's so important and so basic into a personal care routine that I would welcome more studies on barrier. And I know that's another buzzword and it's used quite a lot, but I think it's important enough to keep it, there.
And to me, it's where cosmetics can cure or can prevent. There, it is
the barrier function.
Yeah, the barrier function. It is the place to be, right?
It is the place
It's
to
the
be.
first step, but
That's where all starts, exactly. Somewhere, and you can get personalized information for your type of skin and what you need. Why not? I don't know. I've never used products like these, and I don't know really where this industry segment is going to, but I find it interesting. AI is everywhere, and there's also impact us formulators in terms of our work. And when it comes to us, I don't think it's been very successful for what I've tried. I haven't tried, and I've tried a few tools to formulate, and none of them have been very impressive to me. So that can encourage everyone to go and work harder.
That instinct.
Texture, feel, and the experience. I mean, experience can be data translated in AI systems, I guess, but there's something about looking at a formula when it's being made and just by looking at it, you know how it's going to feel. And that takes years of experience.
Yeah.
So, room for improvement with AI in my field. In personalized cosmetics, I think it's interesting. Why not? I want to see where it goes and see what happens, what they do with it.
So you sit on the fence for that one.
Sit on the fence for that one.
Okay.
What about celebrity-led beauty brands?
Oh, we've worked with those. No, I think
Don't
it's
get
great.
in trouble then.
What should I say?
I think it's great. For us, it's great. We have more work, and this is the type of brands that need our type of services because
they lack the know-how, the technical.
Yeah, and that closeness and getting very intimate in that collaboration. And for us, it's really great. It's coming to a point that is probably too much, as in not every celebrity needs to have a brand. So I think there's probably time to stop. We have enough. Like everything, some of them are great and they're really backed up by good clinical data and really good ingredients. Most of them are premium and luxury. So again, they have the affordability aspect to it. So we can be flexible and introduce quality ingredients. Some of them have collaborated with universities. I know one of them was a doctor there and got products out there that are really interesting. I would say we get into a point that is overrated, but I'm enjoying working with these brands.
Yeah.
So
it depends always, right?
You can get good products from a celebrity
course.
brand. That doesn't mean that it's
and
not
if they work with them,
then we trust them.
We've also worked with dermatologists, as I mentioned earlier, and that's a completely different approach. It's more technical, scientifically based.
Yeah.
It's more patient driven. We've done some work with dermatologists, not for general consumer, but for patients where they have added actives that only go by prescription. And you learn tons in that area as well.
Interesting.
So, and that's probably completely the opposite. For that, I would say it's underrated. More dermatologists, get your brands out there because their message is very clear.
Yeah.
And they know skin so well from a completely different perspective from us. So,
that's a good point.
Yep. And what about storytelling?
And storytelling is very much linked with luxury brands, as opposed to prestige or mass market where they want to reach to everyone. So you cannot tell a story to everyone or convince everyone with one story. So luxury brands will tell very interesting stories, trying to capture a segment of the market. And storytelling is telling, look, I have this problem. I created this product. You also have this problem. Use it. It might be beneficial for you. So I like it. I think it's underrated. I have more stories to tell. Absolutely.
Sure. What about the most expensive a product is, the better it performs or the better it is the efficacy?
Overrated. We all know that. And most consumers do, I think, too, I would say.
Yeah.
Except the ones that really like a certain lifestyle and they like to buy that brand and they don't mind spending the money. Great, you can do that. But not necessarily more expensive products are better. We all know that. Some brands are into the prestige and mass market are great brands with great research behind. They also sometimes can tell stories and be very focused on segments of the market. So, and they do their research. So definitely not. It's true that in a range of retail pricing, some brands are very good because then you can incorporate good quality ingredients and do your testing, do your clinicals. But when it comes to that segment of very expensive
the difference
cosmetic, the difference is very small. Yeah,
exactly. There's like a threshold for, for minimum quality, but also there's a limit to the quality, to the sense of quality and the real quality, Sure. Okay, so that's it. We're out of buzzwords. Passed.
A plus.
Yeah.
Okay, so focusing a little bit on the future. If we picture this luxury category in 5 years from here, what do you picture it like? More focused on an emotional part or more in the clinical and efficacy?
That's such a good question because right now I think we're in the middle. Efficacy is so important for customers and the clinical testing, they become so savvy. They want to know everything and that's great. But then the emotional part and branding and what makes you feel good. So the whole mindfulness movement, I think, is also great. So I think that right now there are trends that support both. Efficacy is great, but also we want these people need to be happy. They need to feel that, that feeling of happiness because so many things are happening in the world. So we need to care for that part too. So I would say what right now, branding and the emotional and everything linked to the emotion and mindfulness is very important. And then efficacy, they also want to see that, I want to see results and results very quick. And going in 5 years is now, right? It's just
for us, yes.
For us,
we are already working on what's going to be there. So
yeah. So I see cosmetic ingredients creating more data and looking at efficacy data. So I would say efficacy will become more and more important. Also with AI becoming more important and getting personalized products, I think consumers will want to get results quicker, faster for their type of skin, for their problem. So we probably will get more weight into the efficacy part, and but I like the emotion as well. I mean, let's see how it develops. But I think efficacy will probably be bigger.
It still has room to grow, right? Whereas maybe the emotional is already quite.
How much can we do?
Yeah, how much more can we do there?
And I think, with the mindfulness and experience in the emotional part, the body care is a new trend, right? We're developing a lot of body products in our lab. So, and I think that was needed after the pandemic and going through all of these interesting times. I think that new trends were developed, I don't know how or by who, to make people feel better and good about themselves, because the world, was not as good as that time, and we were, at home we couldn't get out. So, and I think that probably is gonna, as we get out of that, and we already got out, but it might be that the emotional part is not so important as we feel better about the world. We'll see. We can meet in 5 years and discuss it.
Exactly. Who was right?
Okay, and is there anything else that you think the consumer is underestimating, apart from the things that we have commented on or the clinical part? Is there any shift in technology or in ingredients? I don't know.
I mean, it's very interesting with the Korean phenomenon that we thought it was a trend, and now it's become a phenomenon, and it's becoming bigger and bigger. And I didn't see that myself as a formulator. And now I get more and more briefs wanting to be based on Korean beauty. Yeah. So maybe it's going to become even bigger. And maybe we're not realizing still how big it is. And there's going to be more influence. It's going to influence the way we develop ingredients and we develop products. That's the only thing that I'm not expecting to happen, but it may happen. I don't know, that might be. Okay. I mean, in terms of technology and ingredients, you probably know more than me of what's coming.
But we want to know your perspective
in the next few years. I mean, I'm very intrigued. I mean, I'm a formulator, so I'm always very intrigued about new technologies. I love active ingredients that give very quick efficacy, that are very visual. You can see efficacy from minute one. Also that they are sustainable and they respect the world and the people. I know that that's a big trend and that's already quite established. Yeah. Hopefully that stays like that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe, and then with functional ingredients, I love new textures. What else can we do? We live with the acrylates and the classic thickeners and the xanthan gums and the natural gums for many years. So many new interesting polymers have come up into play that provide different textures. How much can we do to surprise consumers? Are there any other polymers or technologies that provide instant effect of luxury in a different way?
Yeah.
Those are the things that I would love, for me to come and help me do my job. I think AI probably is a big thing that is shifting everything. So how is that going to develop? That's going to be very interesting. We need to pay attention, definitely. And I don't know, as an ingredient supplier, how would you pay attention to AI and how can it help you with developing trendy ingredients? So that we'll need to see how it comes about.
Yeah, from our side, the way we can look at AI, the way I see it, is the science that it can provide us, the information that we can get from...
As a tool.
Yeah, as a tool, as a scientific tool to understand skin better.
Yeah.
We, like the amount of data that we can process now, it was impossible to think that we could do that 10 years ago. And that has changed the way we look at the biology of skin. The latest ingredients that we have launched are all based in multi-omics, transcriptomics. All these omics are in the end understanding and analyzing big chunks of data.
Maybe AI is able to facilitate the true personalized skincare for consumers. And that's something that we probably don't know is coming, but it is. Because bespoke skincare was always attempted for many brands in many years in different ways. I remember Clinique having all the different moisturizers with different colors for different types.
Yeah. For a custom formula.
Yeah, but that, and then I think that you could mix something at home. That didn't last for long. I think it was too much for consumers. Successful. So maybe AI is able to bring that to consumers. You go to a Sephora and then it takes a picture of your skin and in 10 seconds is able to provide a product bespokely made for you that will be super efficacious because you got your skin analyzed in 10 seconds. I hope that doesn't happen one day.
You're out of a job.
Because I'm out of a job.
It's true that for that to happen, what I think is that new ingredients have to develop to be able to change the formula between the different types of skin. Because now I think what didn't, the consumer didn't see the benefit of those formulas, those personalized formulas, because they didn't add that much difference in them. So the difference will come from those, maybe from those polymers that you say that maybe will exist, you know? But otherwise, even if you have your skin analyzed, but you don't have different things to tackle.
We need that technology to be developed.
From both ends.
Well, finally, to wrap it all up a little bit, what would be one piece of advice that you would give to a brand or to someone that wants to position their products in this prestige beauty category?
That's an interesting one. I'm just going to give the advice that I always tell brands that come to me. And I would say two things. I mean, don't do it yourself. Always seek for experts in every single, element of product development. So you can always use services like ours, bespoke formulation. If you're not an expert in branding, do branding. Go to PR experts, go to packaging experts, and doing it yourself, it's very difficult. And usually the brands that come to us that are in the premium range, they can afford, they're well funded to do that. So don't try to cut corners in there. And then the second big advice is no rush. Don't go quick. Take your time.
Respect the process.
Respect the process. Enjoy the process,
That's important.
I love when customers come to the lab and then we play together in the lab, and magic happens when you are there working for some time and discovering things. If you want to cut corners in product development, there's always going to have issues down the line. And I've seen this many times with many brands. So, don't do it yourself. Use experts and then take your time to do it, especially for the development part, and do your research and enjoy the process.
Okay. Well, that's a wonderful conclusion, right?
Yes, we've enjoyed this conversation as well.
Same here. Sure. Thank you.
But we're gonna wrap it up with the final quick questions. Okay. The first one would be, what was the last product that you bought, that you purchased for yourself?
I don't buy products.
What was the last product
because I make products every day in the lab. So I'm in a privileged position because, for some developments, we go through a few revisions. So this product we're not going to chuck it away. We want to use it. Some of them have very interesting ingredients. So whatever is made in the lab that day is whatever I use the next morning in my face. So I'm not consistent at all with what I use in my skin, but I just don't even, I probably bought some a few years ago, but I don't even
years
remember.
Ago? Oh my God.
I don't even remember. Okay. Sometimes we get some benchmarks from our brands and then they will bring the benchmark and I would use them. I have to analyze them, to see. Course. But I don't buy anything. I just, I use whatever we make in the lab that day.
Then I get the second question.
I'm gonna jump.
And my team also does the same.
Of course, makes sense.
You're lucky. Oh my
God. Okay, then we would like to know, what's your favorite active ingredient from Provital?
Hydrofens. I've used it, and I believe you've done some new clinical data, 120 hours, which is great. I actually had a look at that data. And I've used it before. So, great ingredient, easy to use. And I've used it successfully before, a long time ago. And I probably have a few briefs where I will introduce it again with the new claim.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so the next question is, what's the best thing about the cosmetics industry for you?
Oh, wow. A great question. I think innovation as a scientist, innovation, I don't want it to happen so quickly sometimes, but it's good that we change. I mean, we're in a privileged position that we don't do the same all the time. You know, we sometimes complain because it goes very fast, but at the same time, we get to innovate all the time, and I get to use new ingredients all the time and formulate in different ways with new ingredients. So it's super exciting to innovate all the time, and that industry permits
very
that.
Challenging.
It's challenging, but it's very. I think it's one of the best things of this industry. Or one of the things that excites me the most, anyway.
And what would you say is the worst part of the industry?
I would say reaching to overusing personal care products from some consumers. I think that social media is great in so many ways, but in some other ways have convinced consumers in certain categories.
The more is better.
The more is better, and you should change the way you look because that's not enough. And I think that's, to me, sometimes it just breaks my heart because it shouldn't be like that. I've seen, teenagers using 10 products in their faces in the morning with full makeup. And it's like, come on, this is the years where you're most beautiful. You don't need any of these. And sometimes brands can be a bit pushy that way in convincing demographics to use products that they don't need at all. So I would say, which you should probably, stop that and focus on other things. I would think that, that's the only thing negative that I can think of. Everything else is great. It's great.
Talking about beautiful, the topic of this season is the beauty of the future in terms of how beautiful can the future get.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I say it right? Yeah. Thank you. So we wanted to know 3 aspects that you believe are key to build a beautiful future in general.
Not only for cosmetics.
Not only for the industry, like philosophically.
Peace.
Well,
please. Well, that relates to cosmetic industry and others. I would say sustainability. It's great. Let's keep this going. Let's keep it in mind. I'm a diver and I go to the sea and I go down and love diving with everything. I'm not scared of everything. I've dove with sharks and whales and I've seen a lot of destruction in the sea. In the last few years, it's been a huge change. I've seen it myself with my eyes. I've seen cosmetic packs under the sea, and that really breaks your heart. So let's keep on with sustainability. Let's make it even better. Whatever we do in whatever industry, the world should be respected, and its people as well. So I guess sustainability can be one of them. Innovation, let's keep it going. I think it's very interesting in a respectful way, of course, but we should listen to our society demands in whatever field and innovate and provide them with a better life, whatever way it is. And so that's the second. A third, I would say, that also relates to everyone, transparency. It's very important. Let's always be honest, which it doesn't happen all the time, including in our industry. And that's a shame. So let's always be honest and be very transparent about how we do things and what things are and what things can do to you. So that will just make the world better, I would say.
Yeah, it's very complete and good answer, right?
What did I say? Sustainability, innovation, transparency.
Very good, very good. Okay, final question. Which guest would you like us to bring here in future Provitalks?
Gosh, I didn't think about that one. Well, I knew a few formulator colleagues that would love to come. Well, I can think of one actually, but he's in America.
Oh, that makes it a little
And
bit
probably you
difficult.
know about him. He's quite well known in the States and in Europe as well. But his name is Mark Chandler, and he works for his own company doing something very similar to me, ACT Solutions. And he's always been a mentor to me. He's an incredible formulator and he has such passion. I mean, if he explains to you what an emulsion is and what molecules do and how they interact with each other, you will just get so into it. And so he's always been a good mentor to me. And now we work together in some projects and we collaborate. And he works mostly for ingredient suppliers, actually, developing technologies for ingredient suppliers. He doesn't do much work on brands anymore. So it will be great if you can.
Yeah, sounds really interesting.
Definitely. But well, thank you for coming and for giving such honest answers. I gotta say, you were truly honest, and it was
very transparent.
Transparent.
Yeah, truly, it was. And
thank you. It was a pleasure. It was so nice to be back in Barcelona, and thank you for the opportunity.
Of course. Thank you, José. Pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you to the audience. We hope you have gotten some ideas on how collaborative and how much time and strategy and thought there is behind prestige beauty development. So thank you for being listening.
Bye. See you in the next one.
See you. Bye.
Thank you for watching and listening to Provitalks. We hope this episode brought you one step closer to imagining and creating the beauty of what's to come. Subscribe to our channel for the next conversation and connect with us anytime at weareprovital.com. Provital. Do care.